Let us start with the prayer Tamil Thai Valtu. Thank you, sir. Very good afternoon to one and all gathered through online. It gives me immense pleasure to extend to you a very warm welcome on behalf of Sanmuga Industries Arts and Science College, Thiruvannamalai, is celebrating Silver Jubilee year, who has clubbed all of us for the international webinar on emerging trends in English language teaching. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a good leader. With this note, I would like to invite our head of the department, Dr. K. Goindaraj, to deliver the welcome address.
Listening to you, one and all, who are connected through the online. According to Aristotle, those who educate children more to be honored than parents. For this only gave life, this the art of living. So I am pleased to witness you all here in this webinar. It is a privilege to address you all on behalf of Chanmuga Industries Arts and Science College, PGN Research Department of English. I welcome all the participants for this webinar. We are very much delighted with your presence for this webinar. I feel extremely proud to announce that our college, Shanmuga Industries Arts and Science College, PGN Research Department of English, on behalf of our college, this is the 25th year of service in the field of education. So, we people are celebrating the Silver Jubilee year. In this, it gives me immense pleasure to invite our Secretary and Correspondent of our college, Mr. T.A.S. Muthusa. We are truly delighted with your presence and wishes, sir. I take this opportunity to welcome our treasurer, Mr. Srinivasan, sir. We are happy with you, sir, with your presence, sir. With your presence, sir. I bid a warm welcome to your academic dean, Professor A.L. Udayapan. Sir, very much thank you, sir, for your blessing and wishes for this webinar. It is my privilege to welcome to this webinar entitled Emerging Trends in English Language Teaching. I welcome our captain, college captain, our principal, Dr. K. Anandraj, sir. We are very much pleased with your presence and wishes for this webinar, sir. I feel great pleasure. In spite of his busy schedule, Dr. M. Manir Usman, Professor, University of Jahangir Nagar University, Savar, Dhaka, Bangladesh, is with us to feed. Is ready to feed. We are very much thirsty, so sir will feed us the literature for us. So, on behalf of our college and the management, my department, I welcome Dr. M. Manir Usman, Professor, Department of English. Welcome you, sir. I feel great pleasure to welcome HODs of various disciplines of Shanmuga Industries, Arts and Science College, and online participants from different destinations. I thank and invite you all for this webinar and the faculties of Shanmuga Industries Arts and Science College, friends of mine, and the online participants and my dear students, colleagues. I invite you all for this webinar. Thank you.
Sir. Okay. So, Secretary conveyed the wishes and blessings for the successful webinar. Everyone born with a genius, but few people only keep it. He is a man of principles, being simple, humble, and role model to the faculty and the students. I would like to invite our most respectable principal, Dr. K. Govindaraj, sorry, sir, Dr. K. Anandraj, to deliver the inaugural address.
Thank you, ma'am. Happy evening to all. I'm very much happy to be a part of the inaugural session of this international webinar entitled Emerging Trends in English Language Teaching, organized by the PG and Research Department of English and IQAC of our Shanmuga Industries Arts and Science College. Most respected Secretary and Correspondent, Mr. T.A.S. Muthu sir, most respected Treasurer of our college, Mr. M. Srinivasan sir, most respected Academic Dean, Professor A.L. Udayapan sir, most respected Dr. M. Manir Usman sir, Professor, Department of English, Jahangir Nagar University, Dhaka, Bangladesh. As the head of the department, Dr. Govindaraj sir, said, in spite of his busy schedule, Manir Usman sir have joined with us to share his knowledge to the students and the faculty members. So, special thanks to the chief guest. I take this opportunity to thank the chief guest and Dr. G. Maligasan sir, who is going to deliver a vote of thanks. The faculty members of the English department, very disciplined students of this English department, the participants from various affiliated colleges. Once again, a very good evening to all. Really, I hope this emerging trends in English language teaching webinar will be very much useful for the students to understand how to learn the English language to express all the feelings in depth to us. So, in such a way, this evening the students will utilize it positively to learn much more about the English language in spite of his the messages receiving from the classes. This type of webinar will enrich the knowledge of the students, I hope. So I congratulate all the faculty members, head of the departments and the students, and also wish for the grand success of this program. Thank you very much.
So thank you, thank you for your inspirational speech, sir. The wisest mind has something yet to learn. Here, a wise person gives some introduction about the wisest person. I call upon our professor and head of the department, Mr. Dr. K. Govindraj, to introduce our chief guest.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to one and all. Dr. M. Manirusman, who is working as Professor of English in the Department of English, Jahangir Nagar University, Savar, Dhaka, Bangladesh. He had his education in Bangladesh. He had his education from Bangladesh, from University of Dhaka. He had his BA and MA English from the same university, University of Dhaka, and his PhD in Applied Linguistics and ELT. And he had University of Maryland BSc, USA Teacher Methodology for TESOL, and e-teacher assessment from University of Oregon, professional development workshop he had from the University of Oregon and the Department of State, and he is working currently in the Department of English, Jahangir Nagar University. He started his career in the year 1993-94 as a lecturer in the Feni Government College, Feni, and from 1995 to 98, he worked as a lecturer in the Department of English, Jahangir Nagar University, Savar, Dhaka, Bangladesh. From October 2003 to September 2005, he worked as a warden, Nawab, Vaizunisa Hall, Jahangir Nagar University, Savar, Dhaka. From 2003 to 6, he acted as chairman in the Department of English, Jahangir Nagar University, Savar, Dhaka. From 2002 to 11, he became associate professor in the Department of English, Jahangir Nagar University, Savar, Dhaka, and currently is working as the professor of English in the Department of English from Jahangir Nagar University, Savar, Dhaka. Professor produced nearly 6 PhDs and more than 10 MPhils, and he supervised and he published a lot of journals and books, publications. Books authored by professors, nearly 20 books, namely English Book 1, HSC program, Bangladesh for Open University, like that HSC, Basic English Language Skills, Advanced Reading and Writing Skills, Introduction to English Language Study, Teaching EFL, Pronunciation, the study of language, embodying and transmitting folklore, the use of audio aids in EFL, the relevance of the study of utter language to teaching, learning of EFL, students' attitudes, and each book chapters authored. He authored some books chapters, namely Motivation and EFL Proficiency, a case study of undergraduates in Pakrul Alam, Niaz Zaman and Chamina Ahmad, and Bangla and English. Next book chapter is Bangla and English in Rafiqul Islam and Papitra Sogar edited. Bangla Academy of Premita Bangla Bashir Broken, chapter 13. He authored nearly 8 ebooks and he edited books nearly, he edited, doctor edited nearly 7 books and he made translations for 15, namely Human Settlement, Tools and Homes, Coins and Currency System, Pottery, Entertainment, Costumes, Ornaments and Cosmetics, Architecture, Sculpture, Terracotta Art. We heard this from early historic to pre-medieval period, Archaeological Heritage, Asiatic Society of Bangladesh, Dhaka 2007. And handicrafts, metal evidences, handicrafts, and the research papers, namely, he published nearly, Doctor published nearly 45 articles and 2 book reviews. He attended more workshops, conferences, e-conferences like that. Sir is interested in TESOL, methodologies, curriculum and syllabus design, assignment testing, materials development, technology in EFL, ESL, the teaching ELT classroom, research and so forth. So, rightly I may call him as a multi-talented. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The essence of great leadership is influence and not authority. Inspiration is only getting from wonderful personality. Like you, sir, I would like to invite our most honorable chief guest, Dr. M. Maniruzman, to give the special address. To hand over the session.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum and namaskar. Am I clearly audible? Okay. All right. I really feel honored to have been invited here by Moga Industries Arts and Science College, Tamil Nadu. So please don't mind my pronunciation, okay?
So it's okay, sir.
Okay. So here first, I consider it a privilege for me to meet you online. I have many good colleagues and friends in India, and almost every month I attend some program in India. So I consider India as my second home. And here I should gratefully remember, you know, we became independent, Bangladesh became independent in 1971, and India immensely helped us to achieve our independence. So we have always been very much grateful to India. And here, first of all, my thanks goes to Dr. K. Anantraj, Principal of Shen Moga Industries Arts and Science College. Then my thanks and regards go to Professor A.L. Udayapan, Academic Dean, then Mr. M. Srinivasan, Treasurer, then T.A.S. Mothu, Secretary and Correspondence, and then Dr. K. Govindraj, Head of the Department of English of the same college, and my other colleagues, dear students, audience, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm supposed to give my talks on just give me a second. Emerging trends in English language teaching. We have been going through a trying time because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and now we are very much dependent on technology. And in the Western world, including North America and the West Europe, technology has been in use in English language teaching and learning for many years, but in our part of this world, it's not that much used. But the COVID-19 is teaching us how to use technology. The COVID-19 pandemic has compelled us use technology. For example, today we are just holding a webinar. We are using technology, and using the technology, we are exchanging our ideas, our knowledge, our information. And it's actually an emerging trend, especially in our part of the globe, of the world. And here, I'm just going to focus structurally, methodically, I'm going to focus on some major emerging trends in English language teaching. And to share my ideas, let me share some slides. You see my slides? Hello?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So today's, I've already mentioned today's topic is emerging trends in English language teaching. And here the first slide shows what's happening now in the world of English language teaching and learning. Here is just a small visualization of the current trends in English language teaching. And today's presentation focuses on several emerging trends in English language teaching. And the objectives of today's webinar is, upon the completion of this presentation, you should be aware of IR, Industrial Revolution 4.0 and English Language Education 4.0. Be familiar with virtual reality and augmented reality. Have initial ideas of mindfulness and social emotional teaching. Understand task-based learning. Be acquainted with DIY, do-it-yourself learning. Have an introduction to TPRS. Learn about translanguaging. And finally, be exposed to hybrid learning. So let's start with Industrial Revolution. It's basically an economic revolution. It's marked by an advancement in manufacturing digitalization driven by increased data volume, computing power, and connectivity, the emergence of analysis, ability, and business intelligence, the occurrence of new forms of interaction between humans and machines, and digital transfer instructions to the physical world, such as robotics and 3D painting. Here I have just mentioned reference. There's IR 4.0 being a current trend of automation and digitalization of industries has impacted on all aspects of our lives, including English language teaching. Actually, the Industrial Revolution started with 4.1. The revolution started with 1.0, then 2.0, then 3.0, and now in the 21st century, we are now experiencing IR 4.0. And this revolution has influenced and impacted upon all aspects, all sides of our life, including education, specifically English language education. And now let's see how it has impacted upon English language education. Yeah, I have just put the major points. English language education 4.0 encompasses open access to information, individualized education, mental transformation. Here I mean the change of mindsets, integration of digital technologies to education, seamless learning environments, lifelong learning, exploratory education, and multidisciplinary education. And these are the major characteristics of English language education 4.0 now. And in the Western world, basically in the North America and Western Europe, this revolution, I mean IR 4.0, has tremendously changed their approach to teaching as well as learning. And as we are somehow lagging behind, we are basically with the effect of the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, we are now getting used to some digital activities, online activities. And what I guess, if someday the pandemic is over, we will not be able to get back to our previous state, previous condition. We will continue the present practice, and we are now going to experience the new normal. And in the new normal, we'll have a new mindset, we'll have new arrangements for exchanging knowledge, we will have new approaches, new methods for teaching and learning, we'll have new materials compatible with the new normal. And here the point is, we are never getting back to yesterday. We are actually going to embrace tomorrow. Here, one thing I should share with you. My talks are very much introductory. I'm just sharing the initial preliminary introductory points with you, because in a short span of time, it's not possible to dig deep and share just the critical and analytical ideas with you. Here, just I have focusing on. I already told you in the goal of this webinar. I'm just sharing some introductory ideas about some major emerging trends in English language teaching. Let's go to the second point. It's the virtual reality. Virtual reality. It's a computer-generated environment with scenes and objects. This reality appears to be real, and it makes users feel immersed in their surroundings. This environment is perceived through a device known as a virtual reality handset or helmet, and some apps such as Google's Expeditions and the predicted growth. Virtual reality is the perfect example of a move toward the concept of a global classroom. Actually, traditionally, we are confined to very local, isolated classrooms, and we do everything in the classroom. And when we go out of the classroom, our learning is left behind in the classroom. In Bangladesh, for example, in Bangladesh, English is used as a foreign language, and actually here English language is taught or learned or practiced only within the four walls of the classroom. And when our students go out of the classroom, they hardly use English language for exchanging or communicating in their day-to-day life. Virtual reality is an exciting and cutting-edge trend leading to a real shift in the way we blend technology and education, both in and out of the school or college or department or university. Students take greater control over their learning and become able to enjoy native learning experiences and immersion simply by downloading the right apps and purchasing the correct equipment. These are the initial introductory ideas related to virtual reality. And later, if you have questions, I'll try to respond to your questions. Now let's go to augmented reality. Augmented reality is an enhanced version of the real world, physical world, achieved using digital visual elements, sound, or other sensory stimuli delivered via technology. Using augmented reality, students can receive greater input of images and video to match with vocabulary. Visual learners will be able to play to their strengths with a multi-sensory approach. Motivation will remain high due to the cutting-edge nature and excitement of using these modern technologies. Here I have already given my talks on three major trends. Number one, IR 4.0. Number two, virtual reality, and number three, augmented reality. Here we have noticed one common thing. There's everything is related to technology. Everything is oriented to technology. Everything is based on technology. Everything is driven by technology. So now English language teaching as well as learning is going to be tech oriented. And in the Western world, it has already been controlled and maintained and managed by technology. Then number four trend, mindfulness and social emotional teaching. Yeah, now we see that during this pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, everybody, including teachers and students, is both physically and mentally affected. We are just going through a type of trauma. We are not actually now spending our time with our normal mind and physical condition. That's why this trend is very important for both teachers and students. Let's have ideas of mindfulness and emotional teaching, social emotional teaching. While the digital focus seems an overriding trend, the big shifts in English as a second or English as a foreign language are about turning inward to the classroom environment. So classroom environment is a very important factor in language teaching and learning. And during the pandemic, our classroom is basically virtual. We are hardly meeting face to face, in person, on site. We are now doing almost everything online. Teacher role shifts to be a creator. Now teacher is a creator, crafting a perfectly balanced social and emotional environment, promoting learning and allowing students to feel comfortable in their place. Yeah, I'm sharing a sample exercise. Here you see that this exercise basically focuses on the mindfulness and social emotional aspect of the student. And then when the student is ready to receive learning, when the students are motivated to receive lessons, when the students are fit to receive teaching, then we can basically expose our students to materials. Before that, we have to make them ready. Here is a sample exercise. Let's have a look at it. Ask your students to stand up and gather in a circle. Encourage them to focus on the breathing as you take a big breath in and out together 10 times and get them to count along in their heads. Allow them to relax and lie down on the floor. Ask them to tense and loosen each muscle. Remind them to retain continued focus on the breath and the sensation of the tensing and loosening of the muscle groups. Remember that mistakes, misshapes, and lapses in concentration are totally okay. we don't mind mistakes or errors or misshapes or lapses, and then reiterate the vocabulary and uh, and practice and practice and practice. It means that when the students are fit to receive lessons, then you just expose them to vocabulary and help them practice repeatedly. That's why I have written here practice, practice, and practice. And through practice, they will acquire the lesson. And these are all about mindfulness and social emotional teaching. Let's go to the next trend. Task-based learning. Actually, task-based learning started around the end of the last century. And for this approach, uh, an Indian researcher is considered to have contributed immensely. Prabhu, the last name of the researcher is Prabhu, 1984. But now this approach has been modified and it has made compatible to today's needs and interests of learners. Task-based learning happens when students learn through collaboration or meaningful and task-based communication. English as a second foreign language, teachers are required to construct adequately helpful and purpose-driven activities. Here I have put three implementation points. Number one, consider activities such as escape rooms and challenge-based activities as a great way to invigorate and modernize the ESL/EFL classroom while focusing on both collaboration and communicative skill acquisition. The second point, push the boundaries of what a task might include and always have an eye to the future. And finally, play around with blogs, video games, and other technology-oriented tasks. So it's also technology enabled approach. Technology is also used here. Here, just one thing is obvious, very much conspicuous, and that's now with the technology, we can neither teach nor learn a second or a foreign language. Now the next trend, DIY learning. It's an abbreviation. DIY means do it yourself. Do it yourself learning is a major trend as we move to a more independent and interest-based learning styles. And here we should consider a theory that's called the social constructivist theory. That theory was proposed by Vygotsky, 1987. Vygotsky is a Russian educational psychologist. And according to Vygotsky, we teachers can teach. We just facilitate the learning process. It's learners who learns themselves. So learners are the owners or proprietors of their own learning. And the teachers are just managers or facilitators or monitors. They can teach students. They can help students learn, but they can teach students. Students should be encouraged to follow areas of interest to promote engagement and employment in the classroom and home. Teachers have to remain diligent while learning mostly takes place in the hands of the students. For young students, DIY assignment simply involves time blocking or gym blocking parts of homework to explore their passions. And for adult learners or older learners, DIY learning has a greater focus on the job-ready or skill-ready side of DIY learning. They are encouraged to undertake projects at home, for example, writing CVs, writing emails, job letters or applications, college papers or literature reviews to be assessed in class. And then another one trend, TPRS. It's also an abbreviation. TPRS stands for Teaching Proficiency Through Reading and Storytelling. It's basically tremendously, extensively used in China. Okay. This approach stems from the concept of comprehensible input. Sorry. Sorry. Comprehensible input. And here we can remember Stephen Krashen, an American educational psychologist, very famous. He has proposed second language learning theory, and that's called the monitor model. And he's very famous in second language learning and acquisition area. And he advocates a comprehensible input, and based on comprehensible input we have got this approach TPRS. It's an idea that context and meaning play an important role in the acquisition of a new language and native phrases. By presenting tasks based on storytelling and reading in a highly contextualized setting, teachers can teach vocabulary, phrases, and large chunks of language. It's a move away from traditional textbook-based learning. It relies heavily on the competencies of teachers. Just to implement or conduct this approach, a teacher should have sufficient competencies. Now, the next trend is the last penultimate trend, last one, translanguaging. It's I think very mature trend, but still it has a lot of appeal. Translanguaging means the use of various languages in an educational setting. Sometimes we feel that when we are teaching English to our students, we have to do everything in English. We shouldn't use our mother tongue or the mother tongue or tongues of the student. But translanguaging doesn't support it. A translanguaging class sees students write an essay or discuss a topic in their shared native tongue or tongues before grouping with the class and presenting their findings in the target language. For example, English as a second language or English as a foreign language. In this case, students use whatever language resources they have to best achieve a more accurate picture of ESL, EFL. For example, in my ESL classroom, I often have students explain difficult English grammatical points to a partner using their native language to reach a more particular understanding if required. Yeah, just simplifiedly speaking, for better understanding, the teacher as well as the students can use their mother tongue to teach a second foreign language. And now the last trend, hybrid learning. Uh, it's also called blended learning, hybrid learning or blended learning. I'll show it in a picture in the next slide. Hybrid learning is a thoughtful integration of classroom face-to-face learning experiences with online learning experiences. It combines the best of online learning and face-to-face instruction for the purpose of enhancing learning. It doesn't occur simply by adding a few online strategies to a traditional classroom. Successful blended learning requires an intentional and integrated approach. The blend of methods should depend upon the needs and interests of the students and the school or institution. Just let's have a look at the picture. The picture shows what hybrid learning or blended learning means. And hybrid learning or blended learning just combines the best sides of face-to-face on-site learning and the best sides of online learning. And it's very much in practice in North America, especially in Canada and the US, the United States of America. And it's proved that blended learning is more effective than both online learning and face-to-face, in-person or on-site learning. In our part of this world, We are basically conducting in-person learning, face-to-face learning in the classroom setting. And we are not using technology that much, but in North America, they have blended online and on-site learning. Excuse me, any problem? All right.
Continue, sir.
Okay. Am I taking much time?
Sir, please, Professor, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. So we have, that's what I was sharing with you. In North America, in many cases, in many institutions, in many programs, they have been using hybrid learning or blended learning. Just they have combined the best sides, best practices of traditional face-to-face on-site learning and those of online learning, and they are exploiting, applicating technology as much as possible. Here, one point we should consider, we shouldn't use technology if it's not required. When technology helps teaching and learning, then we should use technology. We shouldn't use technology for the sake of technology. And these are the trends, major trends I have shared with you, okay? And now, yeah, now I want to respond to your queries. I want to hear your observation. I want to learn from your comments. Thank you very much.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Hello. Sir, my voice is audible.
Yes?
Audible, sir.
I am Mr. Madhavan from Shanmuga Industrial College, Tiruvannamalai. Shall I ask one question, sir? How does the computer technology support the pre-education, especially ELT, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic? Can you explain, sir?
Yeah, thank you so much. Your question is very small, but it requires a big answer. It's a very nice question. I appreciate your question. Okay. Yeah, before the pandemic, if I share my experience, I mean the experience, my experience in Bangladesh, we were completely dependent on traditional face-to-face classroom teaching and learning. Okay. And before the pandemic, in the classroom, we basically used some very commonly used technological tools. For example, uh, audio cassette, audio recording player, or video player, or just multimedia projector. All right, these were the major technological tools we used. But during the pandemic, we are completely dependent on just online platforms. For example, we are using Teams. Today, we are using Google Meet. We are using Zoom, and there are hundreds and thousands of platforms, online communication or conferencing platforms. But after the pandemic, what I think, uh, as we are now accustomed to using technology, we will not leave it. We will not leave it. After when the pandemic is over, if we one day, if we just can be out of this critical time or trying time or critical situation, we will mix our traditional uh, activities and tools with our newly learned tools. That's why my last point was hybrid learning or blended learning. All right. And I think after the pandemic, we will embrace, we will adopt, and we will employ blended learning or hybrid learning. Have you got any supplementary questions?
No, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, good evening, sir. I'm Malli Jason from San Juan College. Which is the best approach versus the English language, sir?
I don't clearly hear you.
Which is the best approach while we are teaching English language, sir?
Okay, actually, there is nothing best in this world. There is nothing perfect in this world. All right. And here, that's why, in the late 1970s, the British researchers, applied linguists, discovered the communicative language teaching approach. Its abbreviation is the CLTA. Okay, and that proved to be very much effective, very much effective. But that was not the best. And then the communicative language teaching approach has been replaced by post-method pedagogy. And now it is said that all the approaches and methods are dead. They are not actually effective. They are not fulfilling our expectations. That's why here we now consider the post-method pedagogy. What's it? The post-method pedagogy considers basically the learners, the context in which language teaching and learning takes place. For example, I am teaching English to the students of Tamil Nadu, and my institution is in Tamil Nadu. My culture is I am teaching in the Tamil culture. So when I am adopting an approach to teaching English language to my students, I have to, number one, I have to consider the needs and interests of the students. Number two, I have to consider the culture of the students. Number three, I have to consider the mother tongue of the students. Number four, I have to consider the religions of my students, the rituals, the beliefs of my students. And all the things are considered when we are just adopting and using an approach. So now we are using our own approaches. It should not have any name, specific names. When I'm teaching English in Bangladesh, I'm using my Bangladeshi approach. When you are teaching English to the students of Tamil Nadu, you will use a Tamil approach to teaching English language. Hopefully, you have got answers. Have you got any supplementary points?
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Next.
So any questions from the audience side?
Yes, please, you can pass comments, you can share your ideas with me. If you have any queries, you can just share with me. I'm very happy with questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to receive questions, particularly from the students.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hello, good evening.
Please, sir.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, yes, Mr. Robbie.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. In the middle of the pandemic, English language is, um, you know, very helpful for us to connect to each other, even though if we are from in other countries.
Right.
We can, you call this, we are always updated through social media. But then again, there's a chance that when someone is posting about something, it is required to use jargons or a very what you call it an idiom to share the thoughts about something happened.
Yeah, what's your point? Can you share? Can you tell me your point briefly?
Like say for example about the pandemic, some people are posting about COVID-19 by using an idiom or jargons, which not all of us understand it very well.
Yeah, actually, yeah, language is for communication, you know. Language
Yeah.
is for communication. For expressing a meaning, different people can use different terms. If the communication happens, then everything is acceptable, everything is accepted. All right. Suppose now I'm speaking in my own accent, and you are speaking in your own accent, and other people are speaking in their own accents. But if the accents are intelligible, understandable, then everything is okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And English is used as a lingua franca. It's called lingua franca. It's a term. It's a language. It's now a world language. It's used for communication across the globe between different cultures, between different countries, between different religions. It's a library language. It's a language of science and technology. It's a language of aviation and navigation. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, it's a pleasure. By the way,
Yeah.
Robin
Hello.
James Balanda.
Yes, sir.
Are you an Indian or you are from?
I'm from the Philippines.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
right.
Uh-huh.
You are from the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and in Philippines, English is a second language.
Yeah. English language is very important in the Philippines because
Yeah, yeah. I have friends and classmates in the Philippines. Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Govindaraj. So I want to have questions from your students.
Vimal Kumar, sir. Vimal Kumar, any question? Thank you, Robin,
Yes.
sir.
Sir, very good afternoon, sir. I'm very
Good
happy to be a part of
afternoon.
your seminar, sir. Actually, my question is on the research in English language teaching.
Right.
Latest areas of research in English language teaching using artificial intelligence or machine learning, sir.
Yeah, artificial intelligence, machine learning, these are not that much now integrated in English language teaching and learning. These are very new trends, all right, and hopefully in near future they will be connected with English language teaching and learning. Uh, Artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning. All right, these are not still now that much integrated into English language teaching and learning. And I have just mentioned in my presentation some points: augmented reality, virtual reality. Okay, these are the major things now in English language teaching and learning. And here we find different courses in at different universities named TESOL or teaching English to speakers of other languages, or technology enabled learning, or technology, educational technology. These are the skills. Okay. Have you got any supplementary points?
No, sir. Sorry, thank you so much.
Okay, it's a pleasure.
Kumar, sir, a quite tongue P. Question. Could you please suggest some virtual reality application used to teach English?
Pardon me?
Could you please suggest some virtual reality applications used to teach English in the classes?
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, virtual reality here, just let me briefly define what virtual reality is. Virtual reality means a reality created using different apps. And I have already mentioned some apps, okay? And these realities are basically the simulations or replications of our real life environments, okay? And we can't create realities, we can use different apps, and the apps help us experience the realities. Apps help us use the realities for English language teaching and learning. Have you got my point? Hello? I've already mentioned Google's expeditions.
Sir,
Yeah, if you just write Google expeditions and Google, you will find materials, and Google expeditions will help you how to use virtual reality for English language teaching and learning.
thank you, sir. Next, a question from Kazi Soma Iqbal. Thanks to Dr. M. Manizruzman for giving us valuable suggestions to improve teaching and learning. He thanked us. And so, any questions? Any questions from the students' side?
Definitely, definitely.
Yes.
I love students' questions.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, my name is Pandidhari, sir.
It's very nice to meet you online.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir,
I
have
don't
one
see
doubt,
you.
sir.
Can you get your video on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Really, sir.
Vanidurai, please.
Sir.
Okay. Very nice to see your, see your beautiful face.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, sir. Sir, my voice is audible, sir.
It's audible, audible.
Yeah, clear.
Sir, nowadays in the pandemic situation, the writers maybe they are going to follow black fiction, sir.
Right.
They are going to follow black fiction, sir.
Right.
Sir, if you don't mind, can you give any suggestion for that? Actually, I am trying to write something, sir, in computer-based black fictions.
Right.
I don't have any ideas, sir. Nowadays, it's very popular one, sir. Black fiction is like a popular one, sir. Black fiction, sir.
Black fiction. But actually, my specialization is in applied linguistics and English language teaching. All right. So I have insufficient ideas of fiction. That's why I'm not the right person to give you suggestions.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So you can ask me questions related to English language teaching and learning, or even Indian literature in English.
Indian literature in English.
Indian literature in English.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
For example, identity crisis, feminism. Okay, and
okay, sir.
I have some ideas of campus fiction. You know, campus fiction.
Sir, I don't have any idea. Sir.
Yeah, campus fiction or plantation fiction.
No idea, sir.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
In what way?
Next question.
So, any questions?
Sir?
Sir, please. Shafi, please.
Sir, pleasant evening, sir.
Yes, it's audible, please.
Sir, could you please suggest some strategies for English language teaching?
Strategies. Okay. Thank you very much. It's a very broad question. Okay, let me just share some specific ideas with you. As a teacher, I should be very friendly with my students, number one. Number two, I should have both sympathy and empathy for my students. Number three, I should be capable of motivating my students, boosting my students' motivation. I should be capable of warming my students up. When I have prepared my students for receiving lessons, then I can start exposing my students to lessons. And when I'm teaching, actually there are different skills, micro skills, macro skills, and components of English language. For example, I'm speaking English, I'm teaching English speaking to my students. Here, I should speak less and I should try to help my students speak more. I mean, teacher talk time should be shorter and learners talk time should be longer. The learners should have sufficient opportunities for practicing speaking. And for practicing speaking, we can use different strategies. For example, simulation or jigsaw or role play. These are different communicative activities or strategies which learners enjoy as well as they can use for improving, practicing, and improving their speaking ability. Simulation, as an example, we can create a shopping mall in the classroom. One person, there are different students, they will play the roles of different students, they will talk to each other in English, they will sell goods, commodities, they will buy commodities, they will bargain, they will ask for prices, etc., etc. In this way, the classroom is a shopping mall, simulated shopping mall, and they are practicing English in this situation or environment, and this way they are improving their speaking skills. Similarly, for other skills, for example, listening, reading, writing, vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, there are many different strategies and techniques. We can use them for improving our students' ability. And there are different apps for teaching different skills and components. For teaching speaking, you can use different skills, and the skills, most of the apps are free, without any money. They are available on the internet. You can download and use them without any cost. I hope you have got some ideas from my talks. Any complementary points?
Sir, next question. Sir, it's from the chat box. Can you give us an advice? Can you
Pardon me?
Sir, please.
Pardon?
Sir, good evening. Sir, good evening.
I don't hear clearly.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Sir, I am Yerimalai from government school. Sir, I would like to raise a question, sir.
Please, please.
Sir, I am a teacher. So, I mean, working in village sectors.
Right.
I mean, working in a village. So, teaching of English, whether which is the right mode? What I mean that direct to direct method or bilingual method, which is apt for the student.
Okay. Actually, it varies from context to context. All right.
Well,
it varies from context to context. We have to consider what's appropriate for our students. All right. So through the direct method, we can teach only two skills: listening and speaking. Through the direct method, we can teach reading and writing. Have you got the point?
Sir, when I apply the direct method to the students, they feel difficult to understand and they are not interested to listen in the classes. So automatically I go back to in the bilingual method. If I go to the bilingual method, people will always understand in the language through the medium of their own mother tongue.
Yeah.
That is the difficult I find that. If I want to
in our context, in Indian context, in the context of Indian subcontinent, a bilingual approach is more effective than a direct approach for several major reasons. if you want to use the direct method, the teacher have to be as proficient as a native speaker, number one. And number two, you have to create some situations where the students will be able to communicate in the target language. But it's not always possible in our Indian subcontinent. That's why the bilingual method or bilingual approach is more effective. Because if our students don't understand what we are teaching, they will not feel interested to receive lessons. That's why I think a bilingual method is more effective than a direct method. Okay.
Thank you, sir. One more question, sir, please.
Yeah.
Sir, what is the initial steps we have to take to teach the English to the students?
Would you please repeat your point?
What is the initial steps we have to take to teach English to the students?
Okay, first we have to prepare them mentally. All right.
Okay, okay.
First we have to motivate them. Motivation is the major thing here. When our students are motivated, then they will receive the lessons we place before them.
Thank you, sir. I used to tell that my student to develop the vocabulary skills. I thought that it is an initial to enriching the vocabulary. I mean, speaking in English.
Right.
Is it right way?
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you.
It's a question from
Hello?
Mary Ann, sir, doctor. It's a question
Hello?
from Mary
Yes.
Ann.
Yes, Mr. Robin, have you got questions?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I have a question. I'm from Philippines. Okay.
Okay.
We all know that English language is our international language, which bind us and communicate to each other. My question is, there are countries who requires only to use their own native language. Teach a 40 years old native individual to easily learn English language.
Would you please repeat your point?
Okay. We all know that English language is our international language, which bind us and communicate each other. My question is, there are countries who requires only use their native language. A 40 years old native individual to easily learn English language.
Actually, your voice isn't coming to me clearly. That's why I haven't understood your question clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there are some countries. Yeah, then there are some countries.
There are countries that they are only required to use their own native language.
Yeah, for example, before 40 years or 50 years, the Japanese used to use only their own language. They didn't use English. Or the German people didn't use English language. They would use only German. The French people didn't use English language. Do you mean that?
I mean, how can you teach a 40 years old individual to easily learn English language?
Yeah, actually, we learn a language for two reasons. Number one, we have necessity. That's why we learn a language. All right. We have necessity. That's why we learn a language. And when we learn a language, we have to follow the customs of the language, the norms of the language. One time, before 50 years, the French people would never learn English language. They hated English language. They avoided English language. But now they are learning English language. Why? Because now English language is dominated science. English language is dominated technology. English language is dominating the internet. So without English language, a nation or a person is now isolated from the global world. So if we want to live in the global village, we must learn English language. Otherwise, the global village will not need us. We will be redundant in the present world. Have you got my point?
Yeah, very well. I would like to say hi to my classmate from Philippines, Jessa Asanyes, Miriam Kasungkad, and Nia Santelices. They are from Philippines as well. Well, thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Are you studying in India or you are doing something? Are you studying in India?
No, I'm
Oh,
only
you
used.
have joined from the Philippines.
Yeah, I'm from Philippines, but
Have you
I
joined from
don't
the
understand.
Philippines?
Pardon?
Yeah, have you joined from the Philippines?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I a teacher or a student? Are you a
Come
teacher
again.
or a student?
Students. We are
Okay.
about four students here from the Philippines, same school.
Oh, oh, it's very good. It's very good. Yeah, I have one classmate in Philippines. I now remember her nickname, Bodhi. Bodhi. Okay. She was classmate. She was my classmate at the University of Oregon in the United
Oh,
States of America. Okay.
wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you
Thank
very much.
you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Owen. Sir, a question from Mary Ann. Can you give can you give us an advice on how to learn much about the English language since we are just students?
Would you please repeat your question?
Can you give us an advice? Can you give us an advice, sir?
Yes, advice, right?
Advice on how to learn much about the English language
Okay. So,
since we are just students.
right, right. So let me just focus on the micro skills, macro skills of English language. All right. So when a student wants to learn English language, she has to focus on seven sides. Seven sides. Number one, listening. Number two, speaking. Number three, reading. Number four, writing. Number five, vocabulary. Number six, grammar. And number seven, pronunciation. Okay. These are the seven macro areas of English language. We as teachers should teach our students, and the students should learn these things. And to learn all these things, there are many different techniques, strategies, approaches, and the students can use their own selected or chosen approaches and techniques. And now there are a lot of materials on YouTube. For learning everything, you will have a lot of video clips on YouTube. You can, suppose you are learning English speaking, you will get a lot of videos, video clips on YouTube. You can just write, how to learn English speaking on YouTube. You will get a lot of clips. Then you choose some interesting clips and you use them and practice with the videos and improve your English. And yeah, let me share one video with you. I'm sharing from YouTube. Just give me a second.
Thank you, sir. Another question from Karimunisha.
Okay.
How do we implement technology to engage and support English language teaching?
Okay, now there are a lot of technological tools for English language teaching and learning. All right, there is an area in English language teaching and learning that's called CALL. CALL. CALL means computer assisted language learning. CALL. And there is another one technology that's called MALL. 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 MALL means mobile assisted language learning. Using mobile, a smartphone, we can use the internet, no problem. And for teaching and learning, each and every skill, macro skill or macro skill, there are a lot of apps available on the internet. You can download them, you can use them, and you can use them for both teaching and learning. And here, just I wanted to share something from YouTube. Is it possible for you to, yeah, just give me a second. I'm sharing something from YouTube. Okay, just give me a second.
Okay, doctor.
Yeah, just I'm sharing from the. I'm trying to share a lesson from YouTube. Do you see something? My goodness. Do you see something?
I can see it now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Don't see? Do you see now?
yeah.
Do you see now?
Clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Visible.
Yeah. Listen to this person.
Okay, sir. Please.
So listen, today we're going to be looking at how to introduce yourself in the Ielts speaking part 1, including how to give your name and how to talk about your home or your hometown, work or studies. And of course,
Do you clearly hear the speaker? Hello?
Yes, sir.
All
we're
right.
looking at lots of language and some tips and tricks to make sure this is
Good grammar and spelling are important, but if you want to write essays that inspire, messages that forge brighter connections, and emails that get the job done, you need to think about more than just grammar and spelling.
It's a commercial,
This
please.
sentence is grammatically correct, but it's wordy and hard to read. It undermines the writer's message, and the word choice is bland. Grammarly's cutting-edge technology helps you craft compelling, understandable writing that makes an impact on your reader. Much better. Grammarly works where you work, on your computer or your phone. Imagine what you could do with the secrets of the world's best writers at your fingertips, anytime you need them. Are you ready to give it a try? Installation is simple and free. Visit Grammarly.com today. Let's be honest, your day is filled with way more
Oh,
teaching. Taking
we have got a
focus
problem with the ad,
you
you
want to
see.
support your students' growth.
You can click the skip ad, sir.
Yeah, I can skip
You
it
can see in real
because
time
of the
You can click the
screen.
skip ad
Yeah, I have
icon.
got because of the screen I can
you
skip it.
provide the data you need to support your
Yeah.
students when they need it most. Immediately. Let us take the
Okay, just let me. It's giving trouble. Just give me a second.
Okay, sir.
Okay, just give me a second.
Okay, sir. Okay, please.
small things off your desk so you can get back to teaching. Get real-time insights and act instantly with Formative.
so. What happens when two unjuggle them because of the volume of traffic on the road as well? So I really hope that in the future something should be done about the congestion issue.
Do you see now?
So that will definitely help with
It's visible.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Do you hear what the speaker say?
Yes, 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 doctor.
Okay.
Great. So let's have a look at some of the great and nine language that Dad is using here. Let's talk about hometown. First of all, I noticed he said it's reminiscent of the past. That's lovely. Reminiscent, lovely word. Reminiscent of means reminds me of the past. Great. I was born and raised here. Now we can also say I was born and raised, I was born and bred here, meaning I was born and grew up here. So nice language. This is a binomial, born and bred, born and raised. Lovely language. Next, we've got a great example of what I see as kind of building blocks to make more complex sentences. Right? So Datio says, I've got access to pretty much any amenity you could think of. Look at the blocks here, right? Now, a simple lower level student may say, I've got access to all amenities. And the amenities are the facilities that you may get in a city, right? Maybe the library, the shops, shopping mall, the gymnasium, all of these amenities. So I've got access to all amenities. Then you could add pretty much. I've got access to pretty much all amenities. And then you can add another block. I've got access to pretty much any amenity you could think of. Can you see the building blocks on making more complex sentences?
Can I stop sharing?
To be strange, unusual tenses.
Okay, Professor.
Also,
thank
very
you.
nice language.
So, Professor.
Moving on.
Sir?
And here you see, I have just shown a sample YouTube video, and you will get hundreds and thousands of clips for learning everything: speaking, listening, reading, writing, vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar. So our students can use them without any cost. They are all free video clips. Okay?
Sir, another 3 questions for you, sir.
Please, please.
What is your approach to teach culture by Sai Kumar, a student from our college?
Yes.
What is your approach to teach culture?
What is
your approach to teach culture?
Yeah, actually, when we are teaching English language in our setting, we need not use the culture of the American people or Australian people or British people. Okay. Yeah, actually, through research, based on research finding, we have seen that we have to teach 3 cultures when we are teaching English language. Number 1, we have to teach our own culture because we will use English in our own culture. All right. Number 2, we will communicate with the people of other cultures. That's why we have to learn international culture. There are some international norms. So our local norms, number 1. Number 2, international culture. Number 3, English language has its own norms, own culture. We have to accept that culture too. That's why when we are teaching or learning English language, we are actually teaching and learning a mixture of 3 cultures: our local culture, English speaking culture, and global culture, because now we are living in a global village. I hope you have got my response.
Thank you, sir. Sir, are there any difference between evaluation? Are there any difference between evaluation and assessment in English teaching, English language teaching?
Right. Actually, evaluation is an umbrella term. All right, it includes everything, including assessment, testing, everything. Evaluation means it covers all the things related to a language teaching learning program, including, suppose you have a program in your English department. All right, it will include the evaluation of the infrastructure, number 1. Number 2, the technological tools. Number 3, the syllabus curriculum. Number 4, materials. Number 3, teachers, qualifications and competencies, everything. So evaluation includes everything, but assessment includes only one thing. Assessment is linked with the uh, achievement of learners' learning outcomes. Assessment measures what the learners have learned and what they are able to use in their real life situations after the completion of the program. So briefly speaking, assessment is related to only learners' achievement. On the other hand, evaluation is related to everything of an institution and its program.
Okay, sir. Thank you. As COVID-19 have impacts in the methods of language teaching? Question by Pavitra.
Yeah, would you please repeat the question?
As COVID-19 pandemic that impacts the method of English language teaching. Could you explain, sir?
I haven't understood the word. The COVID-19 pandemic has?
That has the impact on the methods of English language teaching.
Influence. Do you mean influence?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, of course, definitely. If we think of our own situation, we see that before pandemic, we used to teach English language in a classroom, in a physical setting. And now during the pandemic, we are using virtual platforms, online platforms. We are using different technologies. We are using YouTubes. We are using computers. We are using the internet. We are using smartphones. But before the pandemic, we did not use computers or laptops or smartphones or online platforms that much. That's why the pandemic has a lot of negative sides, but it has also some positive sides. It has taught us how to work online, how to use technological tools. Thank you.
So next question is from Anika. Is it effective that virtual teaching among the students?
Is it
effective? Virtual teaching, that means the virtual teaching among the students, online teaching among the students.
Would you please repeat the question? I haven't got.
Sir, while teaching through online mode, is it effective for the students or not? The question.
Oh yeah, effective. You mean effective? All right. Yes, of course, it's effective. But we are not that much used to it. That's why our mindset is quite backdated, we should say. We have to change our mindset. All right. And here, I did several programs, online programs with different American universities. There is a technology called Blackboard technology. All right. Using this technology, online teaching and learning can be as interactive, as participatory, as engaging as on-site or classroom face-to-face classroom learning and teaching. And I think, and research says, online teaching and learning is very much effective. Thank you.
The audience side, a student from our college called Teresa. So I have a question. Teaching and learning is a difficult task for the learners. Teaching and learning is difficult task for the learners because English is a second language for the students. What is the remedy for that, Doctor? It's a question from the student.
Yeah, what is the last part?
What is the remedy for this?
Oh, remedy.
Yeah.
So what's problematic for the students, teaching and learning?
Yeah, it's a difficult task for the students because their mother tongue is Tamil, Hindi, like that.
Yeah, Tamil, Hindi, Telugu,
Malayalam, like that.
Kannada, Malayalam. All right.
Yeah.
I know the names of most of your languages. All right. Okay. It's not a problem. My mother tongue is Bengali, Bangla.
Bengal, yeah.
Yeah, my mother tongue is Bangla, but I have learned English. So learning English is not a problem. Okay. And English is actually what's now interesting is that now the number of native speakers of English are less than the second language of foreign language speakers. All right. So now it said that English is nobody's mother tongue. Now it said that English is nobody's mother tongue. Now it's everybody's tongue because everybody is using it across the globe for communication. Okay. So it's not a difficult task.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay.
excuse me, sir.
Yes, please. Rohini.
Sir. Yes, sir. I'm Rohini, sir. Wonderful evening, sir.
One evening, please.
Yes, sir. I'm asking to you one question, sir. Sir, could you please tell what is the biggest challenge in learning English, sir?
What's the biggest challenge?
Yes, sir, in learning English, sir.
Yes,
What do you think?
thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Actually, number one, everything poses challenges. All right. If you want to do something, we must face challenges, but we have to have the ability to successfully face challenges. And here, in the biggest challenge, actually, it depends on learners as well as teachers, and challenges also vary from person to person. Maybe one person finds speaking very difficult, but another one person find English speaking very interesting. These are the actually realities. But here, what I should say, motivation is the most crucial thing, and our students should have sufficient motivation for learning English language. If we can motivate them, and if what I see in our country, many students here in Bangladesh have a phobia. There's called English phobia. Okay, they are afraid of learning English language. So we have to motivate our students. We have to make them mentally fit for learning, and it's the biggest challenge, I think. And what do you think, Ms. Rohini? What do you think?
Yes, sir. There's a lots of challenges, sir. You also tell the one challenge, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Actually, challenges. There are a lot of challenges, but I think the most important challenge is motivation. We have to make our students motivated. If they think that they should learn English, they should invest effort to learn English, then I think our students will be able to learn English easily. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. In our country, also lots of people having English phobia, sir.
Yeah,
English phobia.
the same thing is here. Same thing is available here. Okay. Is your area beside the Bay of Bengal?
So, pardon, sir.
Yeah, by the way, are you beside the Bay of Bengal, by the Bay of Bengal?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So I mean your location. Where is your location? The location of your college?
Doctor, she's living near to our college.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The Bay of Bengal is near your college?
Yeah, no, 200 kilometers far from here.
Okay, right.
Yeah, it's in Chennai.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you got more questions? Yeah, I actually have. By the way, every year I 1-2 times visit Chennai, you know. But
Chennai, yeah.
Because of the pandemic, last I went to Chennai in October 1999, and then I didn't go there because of the pandemic. Because I have a lot of friends and good colleagues in Chennai. For example, Professor Armstrong, the head of the Department of English. Yeah, he's a very good friend of mine. And then Dr. Ganesh, he was at MCC, Madras Christian College. Yeah, I visited that college. I gave a lecture presentation at that college. Okay. I visited Thiruvalluvar University. I have a lot of friends there. For example, Dr. Catherison,
head of the Department of English.
Yeah. So I have a lot of friends in South India. All right.
Sir?
Yeah.
Doctor, two more questions from the audience side.
Please.
How to help the learners with vocabulary? It is difficult in the territory level because, for example, an Indian who says, I'm coming from America, another people that from the States, they say, I'm from America.
Yeah,
because they are not able to pronounce the language and learn the vocabulary. That is a
yeah.
question from the audience side. Yeah.
Actually, here I already told you pronunciation uh, should be intelligible. All right. We need not speak like American or British people. We will speak like Bangladeshi people or Indian people, no problem. If the pronunciation is understandable, it's okay. It's number one point. So when we are learning vocabulary items, we should learn through some visual uh, aids or visual materials. For example, suppose I am learning the word apple. Suppose I am learning the word apple. Okay. So if I see the picture of an apple and I get the word apple, then I will easily learn the word and connect it to the fruit apple. But without visual aids, we can't effectively learn vocabulary items. And when we are learning a word, we have to learn several things. Number one, we have to learn its spelling. Number two, we have to learn its pronunciation. Number three, we have to learn which word category it belongs to. Number four, we have to learn how it's used in different contexts. These are the things we should consider when we are learning vocabulary items.
And
All right.
another question. Thank you, sir. Thank you, doctor. Another question from Dina. Is it possible to learn English language through reading books and watching English movies?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So when we are watching English movies, we are learning different things. Number one, we are learning different expressions, words, vocabulary items. Number two, we are learning different sentences and utterances. Number three, we are learning how different people speak in different situations to communicate with each other. So watching movie is a very effective, is a very effective way of learning English language. And when we are reading books, when we are reading literature, we can learn words, we can learn structures, we can learn how different words are used in different contexts. We can learn cohesion, we can learn coherence, we can learn collocations. So reading books, reading literature, and watching movies are very effective ways of learning English language. I
Thank you,
do
sir.
support it.
Thank you, doctor. It's the final question. Is a classroom teaching is essential for teaching English by Batmavati, Mrs. Batmavati.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, now we are now living in a time of technology. I already just started with my presentation with IR 4.0. That's industrial. That is called Industry 4.0 or Industrial Revolution 4.0. So, classroom. What classroom do you mean? Is it a physical classroom or is it a virtual classroom? Which classroom do you mean?
Physical classroom. She's asking
Yeah,
about the physical classroom.
physical classrooms are not essential now. It's not essential. It's not the case that we must need physical classroom. It's not essential. You know, we have been going through the pandemic for more than 1 year, haven't we? We don't meet in the classroom situation. We don't have physical classrooms, but we are still learning, teaching. We are we are now improving our online teaching and learning strategies. Day by day, we are making it more effective. That's why classrooms are important, but the classrooms may be physical or virtual. I think there is no problem, but classrooms are important for teaching and learning English language because we are learning English as a second or foreign language. In our day-to-day communication, we are not using English language. That's why classrooms are very much important. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Can we improve? How can we improve communication skills to our students through storytelling
Yeah.
techniques?
Yeah.
Sagamad.
Yeah, to develop communication skills, we have to use English communicatively. We have to use English communicatively. All right. So when we are learning English, we have to learn English through some communicative activities. For example, group work, peer work, simulations, role plays. One student will be a doctor, another student will be a patient. They will talk to each other in English. The doctor will ask the patient questions about his health or complaints. The patient will tell the doctor about the problems she is facing. In this way, they will use English for communication, and they will be able to improve their communication skills eventually.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Any questions from the audience side? We are in the concluding part. Any questions?
Oh, the question bank is the question bank is empty now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, shall we conclude?
Yeah, actually, but
Okay,
I
sir.
really enjoyed my time with you.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's my
It's our
pleasure.
pleasure.
And my special thanks must go to you, Dr. Govindaraj. You have just materialized the program
No, sir.
finally. Okay.
It's
So
our gift. It's the gift from Allah. Given
yeah,
us. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
has
Thank
granted
you.
us this.
Yeah.
God has
We will meet
granted
you
us.
soon, sir. After the pandemic, we will meet you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Of
yes,
course,
sir.
of course, of
Yeah.
course. I really enjoyed the time. I have just considered it a privilege for me. I feel really honored. And yeah, I have received questions from a lot of uh, learned persons. I think very brilliant people, especially yeah, we have got Robin from the Philippines,
Yes, sir.
and many other learned persons, very much inquisitive, enthusiastic persons. I really enjoyed this afternoon and evening. I wish you all the very best, and we'll again get together very soon.
Surely, doctor. Surely, doctor.
We are wishing each other all the best. We have been going through a very tough time because of the pandemic. So God help us. God bless us all. Thank you very much, Dr. Govindaraj, and
Thank you.
all the other people involved in the arrangement of this program.
Thank you, doctor. Thank
Wish
you,
me
doctor.
luck. Wish me luck. I wish you all the best. Thanks
Thank you, doctor.
again. Goodbye. Allah Hafiz and Namaskar.
Salamat.
Thank you, sir. So thank you for giving your valuable insights and sharing
Thank you,
effective
sir.
information regarding the topic emerging trends in English language teaching. We are honored by your speech on this occasion. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Gratitude is the most exquisite form of courtesy. I would like to invite our faculty, Dr. G. Mallikesan, to deliver vote of thanks.
No, certificate தப்பு இருக்கா? Teacher. TE? அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு சொல்லு அருண் வச்சுருங்க பாக்ஸ் ப்ளீஸ் நம்ம போடலாம் போஸ்ட் பண்ணிடலாம் நான் மெசேஜ் போட்டுறேன்.
Blessed evening to one and all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this special occasion. First and foremost, I thank our special guest, Dr. Mansur Ismail, Professor, Department of English, Jahangir State University, Server, Dhaka, Bangladesh, who despite his busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion. As Sir explained, the innovations in English language teaching, once again I thank Sir for a valuable presentation. And I also express my heartfelt thanks to Secretary and Correspondent, Mr. T.A.S. Muthu sir, for his valuable contribution. Next, I thank our Treasurer, Mr. M. Srinivasan sir, who has continuous support to this program. We are grateful to our academic dean, Professor L. Odiyappan sir, for his words of encouragement. His able guidance has always encouraged us. I thank our well-wisher, Dr. K. Anandrai sir, Principal, Shanmuga Industries Arts and Science College, Tiruvannamalai, for his stewardship, support, vision, and commitment. I thank Vice Principal, sir, and IQAC coordinator, and other heads of the department, and other faculty members, their constant support for this webinar. My heartfelt thanks to our head of the department, Dr. K. Gondrai, sir, who has worked hard to ensure that this occasion becomes a memorable success. I owe special gratitude to our faculty members who has rendered a valuable contribution for this webinar. I thank all distinguished invitees present here accepting our invitation. I thank my friends for your cooperation in making this webinar a resounding success. Finally, I leave you this inspiring quote by Martin Luther King: "An individual has not started living until he rises above the confines of as individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity." Once again, I thank you all for your attention. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Finally, end of the session. Yes, after national anthem.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्ज्वल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Doctor, thanks you a lot. Thanks to